Hello everyone, and welcome to my Days of Our Lives Today channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Days of Our Lives made a concerted effort to keep me entertained this week, with the conclusion of my least favorite storyline, a double wedding where almost everyone dislikes each other, and a sudden strong love for Melinda. But does all of this contribute to the resolution of some of its more divisive characters? Leo is someone who is dear to Dimitri, with his breakdown while he was alone and not attempting to play an angle for anyone. We finally learned where his brain was at. That pair is so incredibly fun that I can't believe Leo is starting to grow on me, even if he is the worst buddy there is. After the failure of the first wedding, Gwen's response to finding she was having a double wedding was priceless. I also recall how masterfully that incident was executed. I'm already enjoying this one and the shade being thrown left and right, even though it won't reach those heights. From Gabby informing Rafe that their wedding will be a double wedding and that the more guests, the merrier. Oh, if you say so, was Jada's response after finding out Nicole was running late. Oh, very unfortunate. Additionally, the Dimitri living room looks stunning when it is decorated with white flowers. But I regret that Rafe, Jada, and Kristen are the only attendees, and Nicole, should she ever show up. I understand that the Dimitris are not exactly the most popular family around, but certainly, Johnny, Stephanie, Chad, and Channel, who was Johnny's date, may have attended. I'm aware that Chad would rather have severed his own limb than attend Dimitri and Gwen's wedding, but it would have been amusing if he and Steph had attended Stefan's and found out it was a double wedding. You may view a collection of pictures of it here. Gwen's demise. I was aware of how this would end. It was way too early for this to come out. But even though I knew there would be an explanation, I was still holding out hope that Gwen would give them one. I'm still holding out hope that the three of them will join forces. But that moment has passed. That was wrecked by Gwen's long, tearful monologue to Leo about how she finally met someone who was all eyes. Despite the fact that I don't think she could be tricked that easily, given how desperate she is, it's obvious that Days of Our Lives is planning for her to be in total ruin when this information is revealed. Even Kristen is confident that the truth will ultimately come out even though Leo won't put a halt to the wedding. I therefore envision two possible outcomes. In the first instance, Gwen learns about it and demands a share of the fortune, making Dimitri's life miserable as she goes along. And two, Gwen has had it with it. It's obvious that she sees this as a kind of last opportunity for happiness. Will Gwen have enough money when Dimitri crushes her heart and her sole friend in town betrays her? I have my doubts. She might instead opt to set everything on fire before leaving Salem because she feels like there is nothing left for her there. Ruin Leo's job at The Spectator, air everyone's dirty laundry, and send everyone out of Salem to start over somewhere else. Since she arrived, nothing has worked out, and because she has become so dependent on this love, there is nothing left for her. Gabby's departure from Stefan's marriage is inevitable. But what if both weddings result in the brides fleeing town? Anyone who has been around with me during the Whitley drama knows how I feel about it. Nonetheless, this week hits some good notes. Whitley's narrative went off the tracks, but I couldn't help but feel horrible because it was so incredibly pitiful to see a woman rocking herself while holding a teddy cat. As always, Marlena's compassion comes out on top in this situation. If the Keystone cops hadn't charged in and nearly botched the whole job, it would have virtually single-handedly saved the day. The good news is that Aid was saved, which brings me to the next scene that I adored. Aid's family gathered around him. The genuine emotion was when Lenny went in the door to greet her dad, and I laughed when Paulina pulled out an entire framed portrait from her purse. Although he didn't know her, he was certain that she was the one who had saved him, and their bond was evident in all situations. Paulina made up the final component of this. She has been on edge for a very long time due to her panic episodes and nearly constant state of stress, and her ranting has been turned up and directed at almost everyone. To be pitiful or not, I still remember that time with Whitley in the police station. Polina was absolutely right in her wrath, her rage, and that smack. That being said, we're done, and I'm prepared to move past this and get away from the constant threats and lunatics. Learn how to hear. An outrage of infants. I sincerely believed that there was still a chance that EJ was Nicole's baby's father. But as we learned on Friday, that was not to be. Eric here. Unless Nicole slept with someone else, who she promptly forgot about, and they never showed. Sloane is about to enlarge her hole at this point. Because Sloane did the same thing with Melinda earlier in the week on her wish to start a new family, just as Gwen did today with her explanation of previous acts. She has clearly passed the point of no return, just like Gwen. Sloane and Nicole raising Eric's children together would make for one hell of a shattered family. But I feel like they're pushing Sloane to the point where she's nearly certain to miscarry. They're making Sloane unviable for a future with Eric, whether or not she switches it out with Nichols, as I mused last week. The final straw that would bring him and Nicole together would be losing the baby. I just hope they're not tanking Sloane so much that she decides to leave Salem as well. We all now adore Melinda, am I right? I wanted to go on a date with her since she got it so right when she reprimanded Alex about his infatuation with Stephanie and his absurd fascination with phony spectacles. Thank you for agreeing, Chad. And all of a sudden, I'm enjoying Leigh and caring about her. Even the part where Tripp tells Leigh and Wendy about Haley makes sense to me and works for the plot. He's been moved into the ideal position for it to happen naturally, and it's a brilliant use of history. As for Alex, Stephanie has to take a step back from him. She has given him numerous opportunities, yet he keeps pressing and making empty promises of change. There comes a time when you must simply make the call. At this point, she is merely continuing to facilitate his behavior. Stop interacting. Having Kyne around again was enjoyable, but if Salem was expecting for a date with an attempted murderer, she would want to be on the lookout. Greetings, Rafe. Your job was done for you by everyone else. Apologies, old work. Kayla telling him everything about Abby was hilarious, incredibly sad. Asterisk all right. Occasionally the allusions to the devil are justified, as when Leo bemoans the difficulty of finding rumor in a town where there is serial demonic possession. Thanks for watching if you like this video, so please don't forget to subscribe my channel and don't miss any updates.